I so bad at talking? Hello, welcome back to Reading to Write. Today I want to do the Booktube Newbie Tag. I wish I knew about this when I first started the channel. I think it would have been a lot more fun to do than the first video that I did, but we're gonna do it now because I still think that this channel is pretty new and I thought it would just be a fun little thing to do. I first saw it on Nikel's Nook, which if you haven't checked her out, she only has a few videos out, but she's super cute and her videos are very cozy, so I highly recommend her channel. I will also link her Booktube Newbie Tag in the description if you want to check out her video that has inspired this video. Apparently this tag has existed for a very long time though. It was first founded in 2014 by Brenda C, which I think the original video doesn't exist, but the tag does. The questions have been elaborated on a little bit. Originally there were only 7 questions. Now there, at least on the page that I found, there are now 11 questions. I am going to do all 11 questions, but the first 7 are from the original tag. So the first question is, why did you start this channel? So I started this channel, I've actually wanted to for a very long time. I think for about a year and a half. 2 years ago, I fell down the booktube rabbit hole. I started watching Jack Edwards, and Jack Edwards led to me watching a whole bunch of other content creators who I absolutely love. And the more videos I watched, the more I thought I could do this. Like, this seems like something that, because I read a lot and because I'm a writer and I really love dissecting stories, and you know, as you saw in my red, white, and royal blue comparison video, like I just like talking about how different mediums convey different things and just everything to do with like plot and characters and stuff. So I thought that this is something that I could do myself. And yeah, so like I mentioned in my last video, I've actually struggled to write for the last 2 years as well. So I was kind of missing, like I used to write literally every single day of my life. It was very rare that I would get writer's block for more than a week at a time. So this like new period that I've been in where it's been more of a struggle to be able to write, I was missing a creative outlet, and I had never done anything with video or, you know, like editing and anything like this, but my desire to start a YouTube channel never changed, so I eventually jumped on the bandwagon and made this channel. And right now this is a pipe dream, but one day I would like to escape corporate America and be able to solely live off of my creativity. So this is one avenue that I thought could maybe at least give me some passive income at some point in the future. Let's be real, right? We'd all like to live making money off the things that we enjoy doing and not have to break our back doing corporate bullshit. The second question is, what are some fun and unique things that you can bring to Booktube? First off, Zara. She's been on a little cameo critter in a lot of the videos. I thought she is like, I mean, everybody's animals are the light of their lives, but I've owned a lot of cats and she's a very unique one. So I thought that she would be a fun and unique kind of recurring character. Say hello, Zara. Hello. Good girl. You're very silly. The other thing is, I mentioned this in my Welcome to Reading to Write video, the first one I ever did, is I am a writer. And I know a lot of other booktubers are also writers. A lot of times reading and writing go hand in hand. However, I don't see a lot of them talking about reading from a writer's perspective. They're kind of talking about it from a reader's perspective, but I haven't really seen a lot, at least the people who I've watched them. There could be, you know, some channels that I haven't discovered that do this, but like talking about what they're reading from a writer's standpoint, like the mechanics of plot, how characters' actions like influence things, or, you know, what their flaws are saying about them, or just kind of like things that you might change as a writer. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought that like that was kind of maybe a unique spin that I could put onto the booktube community, is just like kind of trying to talk about books more as like a writer critiquing the work as well as just being a reader who's enjoying it. The third question is, what are you most excited about for this new channel? So I actually have some really fun video series ideas that I was looking forward to getting started. I kind of wanted to do a few videos just to get comfortable with creating videos and editing them before I got into the more fun ideas that I thought about doing for this channel. I don't really want to say what they are just yet, just because I kind of want the first installments of them to be a surprise. However, one of the series that I was thinking about doing was the Unpopular Opinion series, which I have one video out for that. It is the red, white, and royal blue video that I did, and it seems to have done very well, so I'll try to do do more of that kind of vein of content at some point in the future. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to creating those videos, which I'm hoping that I can focus on next year. The second thing that I'm looking forward to is just having a community. So my channel is very small. Obviously, I don't really have a lot of returning users just yet, but I am really looking forward to when I do have more people here who are, you know, actively engaging in the content that I'm creating, and I can, you know, kind of have conversations with people. That is something that did happen on the red, white, and red, blue video. A lot of people commented, and it was so much fun, like reading them and responding to them. I thought that there were some really good discussions that came out from that video, so I'm just looking forward to more of that. The fourth question is, why do you love to read? And honestly, our world sucks. I don't know about you, but I would much rather be riding a dragon or learning how to, you know, use my superpowers than I would sitting at my desk or doing chores or anything like that. I've always had quite the imagination. When I read a story, I am literally building a movie in my head, and I love getting lost in daydreams and all that stuff. So reading is just like a structured way to be able to do that. So yeah, I don't know, like why would I want to go to a desk job when I could be flying through space or something like that? And like, you know, I know you could technically fly through space, but that comes with its own dangers. So it's a way to like experience all these fun things while still being safe and cozy in your own house. The other thing is, and this goes back to me being a writer, is that I love words. I love that there are a million ways to say the same exact thing, and there's also a lot of vocabulary that I don't know that can be used to like explain a specific like feeling or thing in the world. I love it when sentences are like really beautiful and lyrical, and I just love seeing how different authors say the same thing but in unique ways. So the fifth question is, what book or series got you into reading? This one is a little bit funny because what got me into reading is actually a TV show, and that is Reading Rainbow and Wishbone. Those were two shows that I watched when I was really young, and I absolutely loved them, and they're definitely what inspired my love for stories and for reading today. Fun fact, Reading Rainbow is actually also the reason why I am a writer today, because back when I must have been 4 or 5 at the time, they used to host annual writing contests, and I entered one when I was like 5, and I won second place for a story about a dolphin who had a magic pearl, which if I can actually rediscover that or find where it's buried at my parents' house, maybe I will show it on the channel. I did like my own artwork for it and all that stuff. Sadly, that is the only time that I won anything for my writing, so maybe that was the peak of my career. Anyway, as far as an actual book goes though, I would say maybe the first books that I can really remember like reading are the kids version of Sleepy Hollow. I don't know what edition it is now, but there was one when I was younger where it had like the story painted on the pages as well, so you were reading it and then you could also like see Ichabod like running from the Headless Horseman and stuff, and I have always loved that story as a result, and I really want to dress up as a Headless Horseman one year for Halloween. I also remember reading Bunnicula. I don't know if anybody actually knows what this story is, but I absolutely love it. I don't remember anything about it now. I just remember loving Bunnicula, and just the name of it is fantastic. You know, and then like maybe Dr. Seuss books like Green Eggs and Ham. Those are like the earliest books that I remember like I actually have retained the memory of reading those. So the sixth question is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? I definitely would ask them like what are some cool like editing tips and tricks that they've learned like as they've gotten better at the craft, because there are definitely some like the Book Leo or Jesse the Reader, and especially Gavin from, used to be How to Train Your Gavin, now it's Gavin Reads It All. Just some of the like editing techniques that they have that I've now started to notice in their videos now that I'm editing my own are really impressive, and I would love to know how to do those. So, you know, kind of learning from somebody who's more of an expert in like doing the booktube edits would be cool to be able to ask them. I think another thing that I would probably want to ask them, which is something that I don't really know what I'm doing with it yet, is just like how do they pay attention to like the YouTube analytics that they have and like their dashboards and stuff like that. Like, do they care about those? Do they use that to like inform some of their content or their editing decisions? Yeah, and then I guess like maybe this is like a kind of a cliche answer, but I do think knowing maybe what they would have liked to have known when they first started out and wish that they had knowledge of before they like really fell down the rabbit hole would also be a question that I would like to ask them. So question 7, and then also the last question that is in the original Booktube Newbie tag, is what challenges will be the hardest to overcome? And I really think for this one, just with a full-time job and like wanting, you know, to have one of my main focuses be writing, it's just finding the time. Like, how do you find the time? Filming is one thing. It's hard, but it's a little bit easier to schedule than like making sure that you can edit, because editing takes a long time. And so being able to find the time to do both on like a schedule that keeps you relevant to the YouTube algorithm, because as soon as you stop posting, they kind of forget about you. It's just how do you do it? Especially if you have a job and you have like other responsibilities, you know, to like manage. That's definitely been the most difficult part, is just making sure that I can keep up with the schedule while doing all of these other things. So these next 4 questions are extra ones that were created. I don't know by who, but they were 4 questions that I found on the page that I used for this newbie tag, which I will link into the description. So yeah, number 8 is, when did you start reading? Like I said, for the other question, this is a little bit similar to the other question, but I can't really remember. So it must have been really young, like 4 or 5. I mean, I'm sure I was reading before that, but I don't remember what those books were at all. I guess for this question, I'll tack on to that by saying that I have had an on and off relationship with reading. So I read a lot when I was little, up through like probably 8th grade. And then I kind of tapered off in high school just because I was so busy with everything else, and they kind of shoved classics down your throat in high school. So reading was a little bit less fun. And then I picked it back up again in college for a couple years, and then fell off when I graduated. This stint right now where I'm reading enough where I think that I can have a booktube channel and I'm actively excited to read all the time was in 2020 during the pandemic. So I got laid off. I had a lot of time on my hands. I went on like a book buying binge, and I had like all of these books that I was behind on ever getting to read. So I started reading again, and now it's been 3 years now, and it's a habit that I've been able to keep up with, and I'm much happier for it. So number 9 is, where do you read? I often read on the couch, but sometimes I'll read wherever. You know, like at a doctor's office, or, you know, at the airport, or on a plane. Sometimes I'll read at work. I'll bring up a book to work and read on my breaks, but most of the time I'm sitting on the couch. Number 10 is, what kind of books do you like to read? I like to read a lot of books. So I'd say my biggest genres are fantasy, science fiction, and romance. Those are the 3 that like I really gravitate towards, and I usually love the things that I read in them. But I'm also a big thriller, mystery, and horror fan, so I'll read a lot of those too. I'm now also a classics fan. I read a lot of classics this year, and I'm very happy for it, because aside from like maybe one, I think I've really enjoyed every single one that I've read. So I also like any books that have dragons in them, or enemies to lovers as a trope, or anti-heroes, or rebels with a heart of gold. Like, those are my jam. I absolutely love stories that do that and execute it well. And then number 11 is, what does my book collection look like? Well, I will show you. It's a bit of a mess. The books are literally all over the place because I'm running out of space. But yeah, I'll take you on a little tour. So I have this full bookshelf here. On the top, there's kind of my romance books, my classics, and then the brief amount of literary fiction that I have. It's a little mishmash just because I started to get to the point where I needed to shove in all the books I could into wherever they actually fit. This second shelf here is fantasy, and then horror in the corner over here. Down here is more fantasy. On this side, these are a lot of the thrillers and mystery novels that I have here. This shelf here is a mix of science fiction and fantasy books, and it's kind of getting out of control because I've completely run out of space. And then the bottom shelf is a lot of nonfiction, and then also more science fiction, mainly Warhammer books, which a lot of them are my fiance's books, but I have read one. I plan to read another 1 or 2 of them. And then I have a new stack of the Inheritance Game series down here, again because I have literally nowhere else to put it on my bookshelf. That will be my book club book for the month of December, so we'll see how that goes. I have a few books stacked on our little lamp over here, again of more books that I do not have anywhere to put it. All of these are books that I'm in the middle of right now. And this is a book that I got in Ireland, which you'll see in the Ireland vlog whenever I'm able to get that up. It's kind of just, it's big enough that it has to be a coffee table book, but it has super, super cool illustrations in it that I am absolutely obsessed with, and is the reason that I bought it, and I will show it literally every single time I have a chance to. And then finally, I have these books over here. A lot of them are my book of the month selections. Some are just, again, books that I could not fit literally anywhere else. These are all books that I've read and I plan to talk about at some point. I have some book of the month little bookmarks up that I absolutely love. Yeah, so that is it for this video. As always, if you've made it to this part of the video, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here to do this little booktube newbie tag with me. And yeah, see you next time.